Hello, everybody. I'm Hope, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel. Previously, we had the scene in the rain with Sakura as she vents out everything to Shiro and really lets us in the pain that she's been through. We also get to see Shiro make his decision, finally, whether to keep his ideals and allow Sakura to die, or to leave them behind and instead enact on his selfish desire to keep her safe. And of course, we chose the latter. And I don't have many words to say just how beautiful the scene was last episode with Sakura and Shiro. Definitely one of the best scenes in the entire novel for me. Not only just thematically with how much it just really integrates those two characters together really well, but with my own personal feelings too. It was just a really well executed scene no matter what you say about it. Even if you don't like Sakura, that scene is still brilliant. But of course, Sakura is my favorite, so I have bias, and hopefully everyone who got through last episode is fine as well. I think I'm okay. Don't think the rest of the game is gonna be easy, per se, but I'm hoping we got through one hard part. We can get through a little bit more on our own. I gotta stop rambling or we're gonna be here forever. We've walked Sakura home and, well, they finally get to be lovers, which is nice, but Sakura's dying. We don't know what's gonna happen to her. She's eventually gonna become our enemy. It's a foreboding kind of feeling. She even said it herself that she's gonna end up hurting us. We don't know how. Let's just continue and enjoy the little bit of time that they have left before anything bad happens. Oh, my heart. The rain is completely stopped by the time we return to my house. We've been holding hands ever since we left the park. We calmed down as we walked, and by the time we got to the hill, we were actually embarrassed, but in the end, it didn't even let go even for a moment. That's wholesome.
あれ、玄関の明かりがついてる。さくら、一度家に戻ってきたのか？
Yeah, why is the light on?
私じゃないと思います。藤村先生じゃないでしょうか。
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe. We go to the door hand in hand. Oh. Her cold hand has become warm. I'm relieved to feel the warmth of her life, and I enter my house as if I've just come home from school.
お帰りなさい。失礼だとは思ったけど、勝手にお邪魔させてもらったわ。
Okay, Rin, we know why you're here. Let us talk for a bit, okay?
遠坂。
Please.
遠坂先輩。ええ、最後にはここに戻ってくると踏んではいたけど、まさか二人で戻ってくるとはね。
Alright.
エミヤくんならありえるかなとも思ってはいたけど。
Well, we're waiting. What are you gonna do? I quickly push Sakura behind me and confront Hosaka.
お前まだ。
当たり前でしょ。遠坂の魔術師として麻藤さくらは放っておけない。冬木の管理者として処罰しなければ私が教会に目をつけられる。そうなってからじゃ遅いわ。
I never really considered that the association would come after her as well, and everyone else. But still, I know that deep inside of herself this is going to be the most painful thing, but it's hard to stomach when she's able to deliver it so emotionlessly.
そんな事情なんて知るか。さくらはまだ何もしてない。それでもさくらに手を挙げるって言うんなら。
Unless Sakura can,
まず俺を黙らせろよ。
unless Rin can agree to only do something after Sakura's done something, which would give us a little bit of time.
そうね。あなたは教会に属さないフリーの魔術師だし、ここで取り締まっておくのもいい。私はさくらを殺すわ。それを邪魔するのなら、あんたも殺す。
Emmy, well, she does have command spells. I don't know how we're gonna wiggle our way out this. I sense this become alert to Sokka's fingertip. Once it moves, that'll signal the start of the battle. I'll escape outside with Sakura before Tosaka can finish her spell. I got an idea. Oh, Medusa! Please help us! After that, I'll decide what to do after that on the spot. For now, I'm going to concentrate on getting away from here. The difference in our skills. I can't even spare to think about what I might do against Archer, who should be here. Tosaka's lips start to move when I notice she's merely speaking, not casting a spell. Sakura jumps in between us. Uh-oh, I don't want to see this cold behavior towards Sakura. That's gonna hurt her. I know it hurts Rin at the same time, but I don't need to see Sakura in any more pain than she's already in. Sakura might be able to convince Rin not to do anything until after she's hurt other people. She's lived it for 11 years. Even if she doesn't completely grasp it, I think she has more understanding than you. Wow. I didn't expect to see Sakura's backbone again like that. I mean, fair point. You defend yourself, even if it's your sister. It sucks, and it's sad, and it's dark, but if she attacks first, what are you gonna do? Let her kill you? No, you're gonna defend yourself. Yep. Good job, Sakura. I'm surprised too. Sakura is trembling, but she confronts Tosaka with the utmost courage. That's the power. That's the power of, like, Shiro's love, understanding, the forgiveness, and the... it's nice to see her. Is she surprised by Sakura's determination, or does she think it's disadvantageous to fight here? Mostly the former, but a little bit of the latter. At least in my opinion. Grail, huh? Too bad nobody knows about the Grail's true nature, unfortunately. Just saying we're enemies on the battlefield. This is the last time we're not enemies, I guess? You're stalling. After seeing Sakura's backbone there, she couldn't go through with it, so she's stalling. Good bravado on her part. She passes by us. To my surprise, she doesn't show any enmity as she passes us. That's rough. Yeah, it's probably gonna be like in a couple days, if that. Unlikely. Sadly. She leaves without turning around. It's okay, Sakura. Ouch, that's a little savage. I do my best to cheer Sakura up as we go into the hallway. We're both freezing, so we should quickly get changed and warm ourselves up. Those words are gonna haunt Shiro a bit. That means that when she kills me, I have to kill her as well. Are you prepared for that? Osaka left, leaving me with what I must do at the very least, right? If that's gonna be a bad end, isn't it? That will never happen. I keep convincing myself as we head to the living room. Our clasped hands are really warm. Oh, Sakura's here alive. That's all I care about now. I can't make Sakura uneasy by worrying about other things, but... Wait, I think Sakura's hand is too warm.
Sakura, もしかして熱がぶり返したか?
Nah, she feeling feelings.
どうでしょう。私、暑いですか?
She must not know herself as she asks me a strange question.
いや、そんなに暑いわけじゃないけど、俺よりあったかいかな。
その、きっと風邪です。
You always make good excuses, Sakura.
疲れてたから、それで風邪をひいたんだと思います。
Also, I was gonna mention we now with Ryder's identity and Sakura being the master, we realize why Ryder saved us and why Sakura was waiting for us at the door when we got back. So that was pretty epic. I don't know why, but Sakura lowers her head in embarrassment.
そっか、そうだよな。じゃあ早く着替えて体を温めないと。夕飯は俺が作るから、さくらは熱を測って、風邪だったらあったかい格好で今に来ること。いえ、
晩ご飯はいらないです。その、
Oh, she's so cute.
先輩もお休みください。
Yeah, dummy, she wants to spend every second that she can with you. Sakura leaves in a hurry. Eh? Oh well. I'll catch a cold too if I stand here like this, so I should take a bath and warm myself up. Take a bath together, take a bath together. Do it! Do it! It's gonna be wholesome. Watch each other's backs and like smile and laugh and do all that fun stuff. I finished taking the bath and returned to my room. Now that I've changed out of my wet clothes, I finally feel like I'm home again. I sit down and let out a sigh while relaxing my shoulders. Today was a long day. Many things happened and there were many ups and downs. Yeah, today was rough. I sort out the things I've lost from those I still have.
そうだ。さくら。
It seems Sakura has given her right to Shinji, but she is Ryder's master now. Then Ryder must be nearby, protecting Sakura.
そうだな。ライダーとはもう数回会っているし、あいつがさくらを守ってくれるなら、ちゃんと話しておかないと。
She's unapproachable because of her appearance, but I think she's understanding. I don't know when Sakura will be attacked by Zoken, so Ryder's the only one I can rely on. Also, I was told again about Medusa's backstory in her Greek lore. There is an entire story before the Gorgon part where she's the most beautiful woman, or so, something around that, and the gods were so jealous that they cursed her to be like a monster, an ugly monster, and if that doesn't ring close to what Sakura's been through, then nothing will. I mean, it's just pretty ingenious how all the servants are always similar to their masters. Well, according to Kotomine, Sakura's condition will get worse the more she uses her servant, so relying on Ryder is a last resort.
よし。明日になったらさくらに紹介してもらおう。
Hold each other. Hold each other.
セイバーにやられたことを根に持ってそうだよな。
I don't think she's the type to hold grudges, to be honest. My shoulders slump, but Ryder will be living here too, so I should at least greet her.
誰だ?
Oh, it's... Yeah, she wants to sleep with you, dummy. In two ways, but one of them is pretty wholesome. I raise myself so that I can dodge instantly and glare at the shoji. Outside the room, I can see the silhouette of someone standing at the porch. There's no reply. The figure seems to be waiting for my reaction. Damn, there's nothing I can use as a weapon here. I guess I'll have to attack first before... He's on the defensive, I understand.
なんだ、さくらか。
I sit back down. Man, she should have said something. What's wrong with her?
風呂なら好きに使っていいぞ。着替えなら藤根のがあるだろう。
はい。お風呂はもうお借りしました。藤村先生の洋服も借りてます。
Eh? Now I'm really confused. I don't think there's anything else to ask.
先輩、入っていいですか？
いいけど、どうしたんだよ。改まって。
The shoji opens, and the person entering the room is... I love that outfit. That outfit is so adorable. Sakura normal clothes acting strangely. I hear someone gulp. I realize that it's me and feel myself heating up. I cover my mouth with my hand and look away. This is bad. I looked away, but the urge to look at her is overwhelming. My heart's beating rapidly and my head is so confused that it might run away unless I keep the reins on. Don't lose it. Stay calm. In short, I'm about to go crazy. I don't know why, but Sakura's unnaturally beautiful right now. Sakura just stands there. I finally realize that something else is strange.
さくら、どうかしたのか？熱はどうだったんだ？やっぱり風邪か？
いえ、熱はありますけど、風邪じゃないんです。
Wow, she is actually just being completely honest here. Like, come on, Shiro? Fucking dense knucklehead?
私が暑いのは病気じゃ。
It's because of you, dummy. Sakura looks down awkwardly. The gesture almost makes me let go of the reins. Sakura acted like this from time to time over the last couple days. I thought I'd grown used to noticing parts of her that I didn't know about, and that she's a girl my age. But I think this is on a different level entirely.
さくら、
ダメなんです。先輩、もう私一人じゃ抑えられない。
Oh lord. Sakura blushes and tries to endure the embarrassment.
抑えられないって何が？
It's exactly what you're thinking. The worm in me is eating my magical energy and telling me it's not enough, it wants more. My body started to heat up just by holding your hand and thinking it's warm. I mean, a little, but not really. There's also the horny going on. I can hear the heat in her unsteady words. Sakura's feeling embarrassment and something like joy from exposing her dark side. Oh man.
私は魔導の家で魔術師として教育されました。
Right. Being forced to endure that, and especially the amount of chemicals that are released in your brain, it gets you addicted to that. And it's not her fault for being addicted to it. It's like telling a heroin addict who is forcefully stuck, who had a needle forcefully stuck into their arm, why the fuck are you addicted to heroin, homie?
血筋の違う私を魔導の魔術師にするため、おじい様は私の体をいじったんです。その結果がこんな魔力が足りないとおかしくなる体なんです。
I guess the reason that it's seen a little bit, I feel like we're more used to seeing male characters horny in media. Well, I don't know if that's even close to true, but seeing this sort of thing happen to a female character, especially back in 2004, I don't think was entirely that common, so it's definitely different, but not in a bad way. It's in good taste in the sense that it's a real trauma that somebody could go through. And I'm trying to find the words to say, but it's just, I wonder if people find it weird that she's like this without understanding why. I mean, when you think about it, the answer's clear. But I could see there being people who are just like, ooh, Sakura creepy, she's obsessed with sex. Like, no, not even close. The result is this lewd body that desires men. My body heats up and goes crazy unless I get semen from a magus. Yeah, unfortunately, and that's the case. I get dizzy. I don't know when I entered another dimension, but the room itself starts to warp and laugh. But I'm the one who's strange. I should be angry at Zoken, but I can only stare at Sakura's body.
先輩、先輩はどうして
Oh.
こんな私をかばってくれるんですか？私はとっくに蝕まれています。先輩が好きでも先輩のためになれない。
That always hurts to read for me. That,
なのにどうして遠坂先輩、姉さんを敵にしてまで私を守ってくれるんですか？
Give her the best Shiro answer you can give, or you could just blatantly say that you love her. That would be cool. Sakura's voice echoes in my head like a clanging bell. The reason I'm protecting Sakura. I don't even need to think about it. I don't even need to think about it, so I can tell her even in my current state.
違う。俺の方がさくらにいてほしかったんだ。
That's the truth. Shiro wants to be with you. Nothing else matters, really.
俺にはさくらが必要で、離れるなんて考えられなかった。
You know, I'm not very familiar on, like, codependency, but I don't think there's, like, anything inherently wrong with you needing things from a partner to feel complete as a human being, as long as it doesn't delve into too far. I've always found the idea that you have to be 100% happy and healthy alone before you can be with somebody to be a little bit just... There's truth in it. Like, I think that would be pretty healthy, but that's not even close to being realistic or reasonable. Like, come on. So I think that in this case, these two completing each other in the same way that Saber and Shiro completed each other is perfectly fine. It leads to a relationship dynamic where they can both be happy and feel whole together, and there's nothing wrong with that in my eyes.
だから、いくら遠坂がさくらの姉貴だって、おいそれと譲れるもんか。
それは家族としてですか？
Nope. She wants the official answer. I don't blame her. It's like, do you like me as family, or no?
それともちゃんと一人の女の子として
I can
くれるんですか？
I can understand Sakura's anxiety and fear over this because of how vague Shiro has been. So Shiro, please just say it. There's no way that I can see her as family now. I've wanted Sakura by my side these past couple of days. No, for a long time. It's just that I can't lie to myself any longer.
なあ、
Oh.
さくらが好きだ。
Ah. Oh my god. Oh. Oh boy. Thank you, game. We finally got it. We got the drop. We got the L-bomb. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm still entranced, but I managed to say it. I know it's something I shouldn't say, something I shouldn't give in to, but I can't fight against it any longer. Then please make love to me, or else I'll feel so uneasy that I'll go crazy. But Sakura, my voice of reason mounts one last desperate defense, but... Okay, these are, not voice acted. That's right. I'm gonna read them in my normal voice, but, okay, so let's go back. And please, so Sakura says, then please make love to me, or else I'll feel so uneasy that I'll go crazy. That is undeniably wholesome to me, and absolutely adorable, because you gotta keep in mind, there's the pleasurable aspect to it that she's addicted to because of the treatment she's been forced with. But the one part of this is love. She's never had it to be in the form of love like this. That's gonna be a first for her, and of course she wants that. She loves Shiro with all of her heart, and I've always found there to be a profound difference between making love and, like, fucking, for example. I'm being very, very explicit, so hopefully the YouTube demigods don't consume my... I don't get consumed by their wrath. But there's an inherent difference between the two that's very easy to see. So I'm very happy that Nasu's word choice for Sakura to say here was that, because that's indeed what it is, and it's inherently beautiful. We see it as such an immoral, indecent act when really the act of making love to someone that you love is beautiful, even if the mechanics of it are a little interesting. It's mostly about the physical connection. There's like a spiritual connection too, and the level of intimacy that you get not only mentally but physically. It's kind of like a twofer kind of deal. Like you get both at the same time. So for Sakura to say it like that, it makes me happy. And Shiro's just trying to... This is, like, he's never experienced this before. Of course he's gonna be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And his body wants to give in, but he's just... And Sakura asks, Senpai, am I dirty? That comes from That's just a sad line. She definitely believes that, but she wants to hear what Shiro thinks. Because that's what... Alright, we got through it. It's over. I think. Right? Okay, we have heartbeats. I can show this at least. Okay, so... yeah, okay. I would say that that's definitely the best written one so far. Because there's actually good stuff in there. So, props. I see a dream after that. We're both tired and sleep together after having relationships with each other. Sakura hesitated with a blush, but she nodded when I asked her if she wanted to and came into my futon with red. Oh, cute. Things are getting weird now. Looks like there's gonna be some trippy stuff. There's like this red void. I mean, I can show this, so we're fine. It's hot. My foothold is melting. I'm sinking into an internal desire. I'm literally drowning in a sea of pleasure called Sakura. Why are you seeing that? Dude, this better get explained. You see, Sauron, the thingy. I see a violent dream. I see an ominous dream in a sea of hot coal tar. That's gonna be important later. That was creepy. The next day is called Dark Wood, Sleeping Beauty. Day 9 complete. Pretty epic, man. Pretty epic. Day 9 complete. Now that's strategy. Okay, so we do be beginning day 10 with Darkwood, Sleeping Beauty. Starting out with the wholesome music because it's daytime and nothing bad happens during daytime. I open my eyes, while staring up at the ceiling, I raise my arm and let it fall to the futon. It's because you have someone next to you, dummy. I keep my eyes on the ceiling on a daze, not bothering to get up. My body feels dull. I'm not awake yet, and I feel like I need more rest. Even though it's morning already, I really don't feel like getting up. I try to recall what happened, then. At the very least, my sleepiness is blown away in an instant. Look beside me. No one is beside me unless he's... Oh, she's probably there cooking. Unless he's my lazy arm. Oh, so Sakura's already awake. And she should be in the kitchen. Knowing her, I bet she's preparing breakfast, letting me sleep in. Man, she always pushes herself if I don't stop her. I raise myself up. Immediately, dizziness assails me. Whoa. My body sure feels heavy. Maybe I'm fatigued. A lot certainly did happen yesterday, but I don't think what happened last night would make me this tired. I haven't been training for nothing. It must be because I didn't get that much sleep. That's the way. First of all, Sakura's in a worse state. And she's pushing herself even harder, so I can't be resting just because I feel a bit tired. Mustering my resolve, I get out from the futon. And I get dizzy again. It's not because of fatigue, it's because, my appearance is very unique. Causing me to remember what happened last night. Oh. Drag the futon with me as I make my way to the wardrobe. Crap. If this is causing me to blush, how in the hell can I greet Sakura? Take another deep breath to prepare myself. It's alright, I've simulated it in my head many times in my head. It's nothing difficult. I've greeted her numerous times before, so it's weird to be nervous. Alright, I'm going. I put gasoline in my empty tank. I turn the key, kick the gas pedal, and enter the living room where Sakura is. Aww. Then, Sakura, who I thought would still be in the kitchen, is in the living room putting breakfast on the table. I love how they're both so embarrassed. It just makes it cuter. I try to say something, but my head is blank. This is bad. It's bad to have silence so early in the morning. No more than that. As a man, I can't trouble a girl. I talk stupidly. Wait, this greeting isn't any different from the early one, you idiot. I love it, dude. That's so good. That's so good. I think Sakura's response is the same as well. She looks at me in surprise, evidently thinking the same thing. To her, I must look the same way. Thinking about it makes me relax. We were both nervous, but we were looking forward to seeing each other.
3度目になるけどおはようさくら
I give her a natural smile and greet her again. The instant she sees me relax.
おはようございます先輩
And so our awkward breakfast starts.
いただきます
いただきます
Even though we can do all the usual formalities, I'm still nervous. I eat restlessly. Sakura must have gotten over it as she's eating in a good mood. Our girl's stronger in this regard.
どうかしましたあ、お味噌汁のおかわりですか
いやまだ一杯目けど
今朝のは自信作ですから喜んでもらえて嬉しいです
Her smile makes me choke. It's embarrassing to be blushing when Sakura's already composed, so I start eating to hide it. I put down the empty bowl, but the side dishes are still untouched. It was all I could do to finish the rice and miso soup. I don't even want to think about eating anything else. But it can't be helped. Forgive me, Sakura. I want to get away from here and give myself a chance to calm down.
先輩今朝のは口に合いませんか
Strategic retreat failed. It seems I'm the only one who didn't notice that there is no escape. I hand her the bowl silently.
おかわりですねいっぱい作りましたからたくさん食べてください
It's like, no, my stomach! I take the refilled bowl and resume breakfast. I guess it can't be helped. I'll prepare myself. I'll just have to deal with the fact that I'm blushing and I won't make excuses for looking at every move Sakura makes. But still...
さくら
Isn't she a problem?
問題って何ですか
Oh, is Medusa here? She looks at me in wonder. In other words, she's just standing there like, hello? It seems that the president of writers sitting silently next to her doesn't bother Sakura at all.
だから問題っていうのは
Take a look at Ryder. She must have realized she's out of place.
私に気を払う必要はありません。食事を続けて結構です。
Her elegance is a match for Sakura's.
先輩彼女のことが気になってたんですか
そのようですね。確かに彼とは何度か争った中、
Yeah, it's just a little weird, you know?
食事の場に旧敵がいては落ち着かないのでしょう。
そんなことないです先
But yeah,
輩ライダーを恨んでなんかいないもの
that part is very true. This is troubling. I don't have a grudge against her, but she has a rank of A+ in terms of people I cannot get along with.
どうでしょうか。彼の食事が進まないのは私がいるからのようです。
Damn.
だからそんなことないですね先輩はライダーがいても構いませんよね
I'm troubled, so... Okay. Be nice to Ryder. Or be a jerk. So I'm stuck between I really like her and, more importantly, I'll just ask her if she wants something to eat. To be honest, I can't quite figure out how to deal with her, but I already know Ryder is my ally. The reason I can't calm down is not that Ryder is here, it's that...
ライダー朝飯食わないのか俺とさくらが食べてるのに一人で正座してるだけってのは言いづらいだろう
I feel bad because it feels like I'm forcing Ryder to fast.
食べません。
Okay. She's bad for some reason.
なんでさサーバントだって腹は減るんだろセイバーは黙っててもよく食べたぞ
彼女は私たちとは別です。私は人間としての栄養摂取に興味はありませんし、それにあなたたちの作法は私には合いません。
Oof, that's okay.
なんだ箸が使えないなら使えないって言えばいい
Oh, savage.
先輩
Bruh. Just roasted her.
ちょっと待ってろ。ライダー用の食器とスプーンを取ってくる。
そうですね。それじゃあ私はオムレツを作ります。
さくら。
This writer's like, stop!
いいからいいから。ライダー、ご飯食べるの初めてでしょ。これからライダーにはお世話になるんだから、せめてこれぐらいさせてください。
It's really sad. This is the first time that she's eaten as a servant. Sakura happily says this and comes into the kitchen.
なんだ、どうせだからスープ作るか。
Console?
いいですね。トマトも余ってますし、パパッとやっつけちゃいましょう。
Sakura starts to cook for Ryder. Wholesome cooking time. Ryder watches Sakura as she happily starts cooking. Aw, she smiled. That's wholesome, man. Frick yeah. Breakfast is over and it's now 9 o'clock. I skipped school today. Things are getting serious, so I have no intention of going to school until the Holy Grail War ends. My only reason to go to school was to meet Tosaka. Now that the reason is gone, there's no meaning in going on outside, and most of all, gotta protect Sakura. It's too dangerous to have Sakura go outside. Sakura's been looking healthy enough, but we don't know when she'll collapse like she did yesterday. Although she recovered thanks to Kotomine's treatment, she's walking a thin line. I don't know what Zoken intends to do, but I can't let Sakura meet him in her unstable condition. If the crest worm is activated, it'll all be over. Shinji did it using a drug. But for Zoken, the one who put the crest worm there, it should be easy to activate just by looking at her. Kotomine said it too, that Sakura won't last long, that I'm the only one who knows about this. I can't tell Sakura or Tosaka. I have to end this war before Sakura finds out what I'm doing. I don't have the power to save Sakura, but the Holy Grail, the thing that is said to grant any wish, should easily be able to save her. That's rough. Kirei really outsmarted. He saw an opportunity and he took it. He really did.
先輩、さっきから怖い顔して変ですよ。学校は休んじゃいましたし、ゆっくりしていいと思いますけど。
いや、休むのは戦いが終わっ。
先輩、戦いって。
Oh, Sakura, I'm sorry.
続ける気なんですか?
I'm taken aback by her uneasy tone. I vaguely understood, but Sakura doesn't want to fight. She should know the Holy Grail is the best way to cure her, but she's not even considering it. Hatred of battle. Sakura's terrified of harming others. She's right, and I have no intention of contradicting her. Sakura can stay that way. I'm the one who's made her cry all this time, therefore it's my job to fight for her.
戦いは続ける。話し合いで済めばそうするけど、そうは言ってられないだろう。ゾウケンが桜を解放するとは思えないし、桜には悪いけど、あいつに聖杯は渡しちゃいけないと思う。残ったマスターは4人。俺はこの中から桜を勝たせて、桜に聖杯を使ってもらう。
Sucks that we know the Holy Grail is just not a good thing. It really does.
そう言ってもらえるのは嬉しいです。けど、
Yeah, that's the... Yeah.
登坂先輩と戦えるんですか?
I don't think we've projected once, have we?
あいつが邪魔をするなら戦う。まあ、本当は聖杯なんて物騒なもんはあいつに任せたいんだけどな。
そうでしょうか。あの人は。
Oh, Sakura.
私みたいに弱い人間のことなんて
That's sad, I know.
考えてくれないと思います。
And I'm sorry. I can't say it's not true. Tosaka's a nice person, I already know that. But with that aside, Tosaka's a magus. Last night she said she would kill Sakura. Even though that might have been the only choice at the time, she was willing to take it. So, if the Holy Grail turns out not to be able to save Sakura, she would surely use the Holy Grail, something far superior to Archer, to kill Sakura.
そうだな。けど、それでも登坂にはできない。
Yeah, we're gonna protect you.
あいつに桜は殺せない。
どうしてそう思うんですか、先輩は。
いや、確証はないけど、あいつは根っこですごいやつだからな。あいつが選ぶ未来はきっと誰も失わないとんでもなくハッピーな世界なんだ。
Well, that's certainly in good
だ
faith.
から大丈夫。
Even if it's not true, I hope it can at least make Sakura a little relieved.
登坂は最後には絶対桜を助けるよ。
hopefully this is just a true foreshadow and that we get that happy ending. I don't think we are, but you know, never know.
先輩は遠坂先輩がいいえ、何でもありません。先輩がそう言うなら私も信じてみます。
ああ、けど正直あいつ任せってのは情けないし譲りたくない。
Yeah, we're gonna be protecting you.
俺でいたいんだ。
I chose to lead Sakura's way, so I can't give that role to anyone else. I'm going to do my best to make Sakura happy.
先輩、気持ちは嬉しいです。だけど先輩は
She makes a very good point, you know.
状態ではないと思います。セーバーさんもいなくなって、遠坂先輩とも対立してしまった。先輩はもう聖杯戦争に関わる必要はありません。だから今まで通り、どうか
If only we
先輩
could,
の日常に
Sakura.
戻ってください。私のせいで先輩が傷つくのは
バカ。そんなのさくらのせいじゃない。俺はやりたいからやるんだし、今さら降りられる戦いでもない。そんなのさくらだって分かってるだろ。
I participated in this war as Saber's master. I didn't become a master because I was dragged into it. I became a master by choice. Then I can't withdraw now. I'll fight, even if I have to do it alone. I will see this conflict to its end. This is also my atonement for Saber, who lost her life fighting for my selfish goals. Oh man, that hits. That is, ugh.
じゃあ先輩はどうしても
Yeah.
戦いはやめない。そのためにこれから今後の方針を決めようと思う。ライダーもいいか？
構いません。あなたの意見は正しい。さくらはどうですか？
It's so weird seeing all these three talking to each other. It's like weird, but I love it. Sakura agrees with silence. Good, it seems she understands.
じゃあこれからの話なんだけど、その前に。
I glance at Ryder. I'm getting used to your presence, but I want to do something about this, like to greet her for the first time. Nice to meet you.
その目、うちにいる時ぐらい目隠しを取ったらどうだ？
Because if she looks at you, you're gonna get stoned, homie.
お前の魔眼はもう知ってるんだし、無理に隠す必要ないだろう。
Isn't it uncomfortable?
つまり、私が美観を損ねると。
Is that something Shinji told you?
なあ、端的に言えばそうなる。その格好はともかく、目隠しは大変だろ。
Nah, dude, Shira's like,
せっかく綺麗なんだし。
Shira's just being blunt, like,
美し
dude,
いのは取ったらどう
you're
だ？
beautiful. Take it off. You look nice.
だそうです、マスター。あなたの意見次第では、私も考えますが。
Damn.
そんなの絶対ダメ
Oh man.
Eh?
It's like, oh no. The competition is fierce. Wait, why is Sakura objecting so desperately?
なんで？さくらだってライダーが目隠ししてたら困るんじゃないのか？
困りません。大体ですね、ライダーの目は魔眼なんですよ。ちょっとした弾みで魔術にかかっちゃったらどうするんですか？
Excuses. I mean, that's fair.
かかるのか？
Could that happen?
ライダー。
No.
かかります。
Oh.
私の目は魔眼というよりは。
It's unfortunate. It really is.
私本人が魔力をセーブしたところで、あなたを対象外にするのは難しい。
なんだそれ。ライダー、自分の目を。
Can't control her own eyes.
それゆえの称号です。
That
です
sucks.
が、昨日ほどの効果は望めないでしょう。あなたは私の魔眼が石化だと知っている。
Oh, okay.
そっか。あ、じゃあ昨日みたいにいきなり体が麻痺するってのはないのか？
状況によります。あなたが気を抜いていれば
Interesting.
魔眼の効果は上がるでしょう。
It's partially due to your mental state at the time.
要するに気を抜かなければいいんだな。なら問題ない。
ダメ! Sucker's like, no!
万が一魔眼にとらわれてもライダーは味方なんだからすぐに解除してくれるだろうし。
そうですね。私はあなたの命は取りません。
ダメったらダメです。ライダーの目は石化だけじゃないんだから。
そうでしたね。では封印はこのままにしておきましょう。
I'm a little sad that we don't get to see her eyes, but this scene was actually like happy and made me smile, so at least it was wholesome. Heaven's Feel, 20 minutes of wholesomeness, and then 2.5 hours of complete non-stop depression. I love how, like, you know, Shiro's being a genuinely nice person, but he can't figure out that, like, him calling Ryder beautiful like that right in front of Sakura is like, excuse me. I don't really understand, but it seems Ryder's going to keep her blindfold on.
そうか。気になるけど、ライダー本人がいいって言うんならいいか。
ええ。素顔を晒すのは嫌いです。
Blunt?
以後、この件には触れないように。
Where did her previous lightheartedness go? Ryder suddenly acted cold now. I don't know, like... She's just very reserved and on guard with her emotions. I mean, I understand. She's hard to understand. I guess I could just get along with her all that... I guess I just can't get along with her all that well.
話を戻そう。今後の方針だけど、とりあえず、さくらは家から出ないこと。
Yeah, no leaving the house.
あのじいさんとはこっちで肩をつける。
Also, I haven't checked points in a while. Let's check those. Whoa! Okay, talk about points. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 points out of a possible 14. Please tell me I can completely max this bar out, because that would be freaking awesome, man. Oh, it's so satisfying to see that bar filled up like that. Oh yeah, I really wanted to read all of Ryder's stuff. Yay! Half human, half god female beast that can petrify whatever it sees, which appeared in Greek mythologies. A demon that is often portrayed in the form of a snake. Shai was defeated by the hero Perseus. She is an anti-hero who became so because of dark thoughts. Sakura, like that's similar to Sakura. The three Gorgon sisters, Satheno, the strong woman, Urael, who flies far, Medusa, who rules. She's the youngest of the three and the only one that is not immortal. They lived on a shapeless island near the island where golden apples grew. They were originally beautiful women, but since they were loved by the sea god Poseidon, they were hated by the sea god's wife, and transformed into demons by the war goddess, Athena, who grew jealous of their beautiful hair. After they became demons, they secluded themselves in the lightless temple, and it is said that they did not attack humans without reason. As a victim of the gods' unreasonable actions, Medusa's fate was to have her head cut off by the gods as well. Can I just say that in Greek mythology, the gods are like the scummiest scum of like all scum, which makes it all the more satisfying in God of War, like to tear them apart. It is said that the pure white flying horse Pegasus that sprang from the blood of her headless neck was the son of the sea god Poseidon. Yeah, I did not know about that. Someone in the comments said that was a huge clue about her identity. I had never learned that part of her myth. Classification wise, she's more like a divine spirit than a heroic spirit. The great variety of abilities she has are traces from when she was treated as a goddess. Yeah, she's thankfully came as her original form, which makes sense, is what we've learned about how they're summoned. And yeah, that she's beautiful. So probably more beautiful than Poseidon's wife. Ooh, now mixed Mystic Eyes A+. Possess Mystic Eyes of the higher level Saber. Immediately petrifies anyone with magic intelligence lower than C. Those with a B rating may be petrified if they are incautious. Those with an A rating cannot be petrified, but they are covered with a pressure that decreases all their skills by 1 rank. There's independent action is the same. Superhuman strength is the same, and divinity is... Okay, she has some divinity, but it has mostly degenerated. Divinity increases as the hero's rank as a devil or demonic beast increases. Yeah, okay. Cool, cool, cool. Ryder's freaking awesome. I love Ryder. Yeah, you can really see her stats are so much better now that she has Sakura. Her luck and con are bad, but like I can definitely see those stats being low compared to everything else.
その考えは正しい。ですが、あなたはどうやってあの魔術師を倒すのです？
Yeah.
何か考えがあるのですか？
Emiya, come train us, please. I hesitate to answer if she asks me like that. There are several possibilities, but I haven't put any thought into them.
それは
The choice will likely determine our fate. There are many choices. Of them all, the most realistic and reliable method would be
他のマスターと協力すべきだと思う。
Ilya. Bing bang biddly bong.
事情を話せば味方とまではいかないにしても、造剣を倒すのに手を貸してくれるかもしれ
I
ない。
didn't even consider that until he mentioned another master, so Ilya.
他のマスターって
I'm sorry. Unfortunately not.
ですか？
あ、いや、遠坂じゃない。俺、バーサーカーのマスターとは知り合いなんだ。イリアって言うんだけど、あの子なら話せばちゃんと聞いてくれる。
So that means we're off to the Einsburn mansion. In the forest. And to be honest, I can't leave her all by herself. Leaving Tosaka aside, I don't know what Zoken will do. He's the kind of guy that would implant a worm in Sakura and force her to fight. Ilya and Berserker should be many times stronger than Zoken in combat, but we're talking about that monster. I'm sure he will use any means possible precisely because he can't beat them in combat. Yeah, exactly. Berserker is so insanely strong and has really no good counter, except for Gilgamesh, but no one knows about Gil besides Kirei right now. And Sakura. But Zoken's not gonna let things... And I mean, Assassin has proved his ability to just absolutely pull through like an underdog, defeating Ku and Saber so easily. I mean, Saber put up more of a fight, but in the grand scheme of things, it was quite easy. So even those two should be careful.
Berserker. あなたはあの強戦士が我々の味方になると。
Only if it's under Ilya's command. If somehow like Zoken got a hold of it, like the way he used Medea, then oh no.
味方とまではいかないにしろ、しばらくは見逃してもらえる。それに、協力は無理でも、忠告ぐらいはしておきたい。
The girl that came to this town alone, Ilya was raised as a master and crowned with this name Einsburn, so she's not a total stranger to me.
そうですか。
Mm-hmm.
けど先輩、
We were
そ
shown!
のイリアって人の居場所はわかるんですか？
I see why that scene was so necessary now. Nice.
ああ、前に見せられた。道順は記憶している。広い森なんで、想像通りにはいかないだろうが、半日もあればたどり着けるはずだ。
Is Ryder gonna stay here with Sakura?
半日。それって今から行くってこ
Yeah,
とですよね。
it sucks they didn't get to spend too much time with each
そうだ
other.
な。善は急げって言うし、今から行けば夜までには帰ってこれる。
I was pressed to make a decision, but this is good. Ilya helped me yesterday, so I want to thank her for that. And it might prove fatal for her if I don't tell her about Mato Zoken and that mysterious shadow.
行ってくる。できるだけ早く帰ってくるから、さくらは部屋で休んでいてくれ。
Yeah, but keeping Medusa here is the best course of action.
わかりました先輩。それなら、
Yikes.
そのライダーを連れて行ってください。
That's such a huge gamble.
何かあっても必ずライダーが守ってくれますから。
I see Shiro declining at first, but maybe he'll give in.
そうか。その方が安全だよな。
But I can't agree to that. Sakura's also in danger. No, she's in greater danger because she can't oppose Zoken if she meets him.
いや、ライダーはさくらを守ってやってくれ。
Yeah, unfortunately, we're gonna be incredibly handicapped. We can't heal, we don't even know how to use projection. Like, we know how to use it, but we've never, like, fought with it. We're not good at it at all.
もし
It's
造形に
rough.
来たら、魔力を消費する戦闘は避けて、さくらを抱きかかえて逃げること。
Good. That makes
ライダー
sense.
の足なら、
She has high agility and is super fast, so... Ryder nods obediently, apparently thinking the same thing.
ライダーだってそう言ってる。今回、 さくらはお留守番だ。
けど先輩だって危険です。あの森は
Oh? Right now, what do you mean?
心配すんな。危ないって思ったらすぐに逃げる。それにイリアはマスター以外に興味はないんだ。マスターじゃなくなった俺が言っても危険はない。
Yeah, the only reason to kill him would be because that was her initial goal, but I think that's mostly faded away. I pat her on the shoulder and leave the living room. Well, I'll go to the shed first to find something I can use as a weapon. Sakura sees me off as I go. A shinai bag with two wooden swords inside it and another bag filled with light food are the only things I'm carrying. I didn't bring a map or a compass. It's a route Ilya showed me with her magic, so all I can rely on is my memory and my instinct. That's a long walk. I hope that's all the time it'll take. I'll ask the taxi driver to go slow and find the entrance to the forest. I'll get off the taxi when I find the entrance and continue on foot from there. I'll make it to Ilya's castle before sunset if I take the shortest route. I'll figure out what to do next once I've met Ilya. You're gonna warn us about something, probably. Then, I hear a familiar voice from behind me. It sounds practical and cold depending on how you hear it. But my name is said politely, with as much intimacy as she can show. Oh. Oh. Ah. Ooh, that just like punched me right in the heart, dude. Oh man. Ugh. Oh shoot. Why, game? Is it involving Sakura or another threat? I turn around and accept reality. Ryder's in front of me. The girl who used to call me with that tone is no longer in this world. Oh. So it was a very personal question instead. So, yeah, Ryder's whole thing is that she just exists to protect Sakura. And I think that stems from her own suffering because of how similar it is to Sakura. That's really all she can do. But I could see her wanting to know the reasoning. A little. Yeah. That's a natural question. Ryder protects Sakura, not me. As a potential ally, she just wants to know my intentions. Like, I love her. And I want to protect her. And lots of other stuff. I'm not good at telling my thoughts right now because I'm more just invested in what's happening. That's blunt. I mean, I can't really, like, deny anything he's saying right now. That's also a really good question. I understand her for asking it. I think that's... To see how much Ryder cares about Sakura is really touching. Yikes. Yeah, Ryder has never been around a person who has been good to Sakura, nor has an actual desire to make her happy. So this is like a shock. You gotta remember, Ryder has only been abused by Shinji, and seen Sakura get abused by Shinji and Zoken. Ryder just stands there without saying anything. It seems she understands why I'm embarrassed to tell people about this. Yeah, it's very personal and intimate. Oh, interesting. I'm enjoying this discussion. Dude, I'm really happy we got some Ryder love in this game because she's awesome. She's such a good character. And like, it sucked seeing her get absolutely wrecked in the other two routes. What? Weird, I don't... Okay, I'll just take it as like a Japanese thing. Oh, did you just call him Shiro? Oh, Emiya Shiro, calling him by her the full name, I guess. Might be. Oh, wait. I get it. It's because the way she came about it reminded of, Shiro's Saber, and it's too hurtful. Got it. Shiro. This is cute. Shiro. Ryder struggles as she practices pronouncing my name. That's adorable. Guess this won't work. I pushed her too hard and troubled her. She has a sharp image because of her blindfold and her black clothing, but Ryder's actually sociable. I'm just guessing, but I think Ryder's a klutz in her private life. Oh, it's so cute. This is the last wholesome we get for the rest of the day. Ryder is so unbelievably sweet once she lets her guard down. It's... oh, I'm dying. We have like two of the most cutest, most adorable... oh. It just reminded you of Saber. That's right, I liked it, so I don't want anyone else saying it the same way. I know it's a stupid thing to care about, but she was the only one I wanted her to call me like that. I have full faith in her. I, however, am nervous for Shiro right now. I think Sakura's going to be fine for this day. I think things are going to start getting very worrying the next day. But for this day, the main problem is just going to be Shiro's safety. I'll whip to Ryder and start running. I'll go to the intersection and catch a cab. Then I'll go to the suburbs and look for the forest entrance that I only saw once. Heaven's Field, the interlude route. Oh, it's Sakura. Okay, is this gonna be her inner dark thoughts again? When she's left alone, there's no reason for the boy to fight. The one who's no longer a master walks into danger, while she, the danger's cause, is resting. The fact depresses her even more. I'm sorry, of course. The servant asks her master. The girl does not nod, but narrows her eyes and shakes her head once.
今更何の意味もない。
What's done is done.
そうですね。確か
Oh, I didn't.
けど辛いことだけじゃない。私ね、不謹慎だって分かってるのに嬉しいの。
Mm-hmm.
先輩が私のために何かしてくれるのは純粋に嬉しいから。
I wanted to try something. Is there a thing that will keep the dialogue going even if I accidentally click? Probably not. Rip. That sucks. But her face is filled with agony. The mouth that says she's happy is heavy as if bound by a feeling of guilt.
けどそれは間違ってる。
I know.
おじいさまは
Yeah.
容赦なんてしない。先輩が戦う限り常に死の危険性がある。それに
It's troubling for her if he stays in the war any longer. It will bring a bad fate down upon them both. That's why she wants him to simply return to his normal life. She will not last long. That being the case, she wants him to live. But at the same time, she clings to hope. For as long as he fights, she can be with him. She just intends on her dying, and just here to live a normal life. That hurts. Oh no. No, it delights her that the person she loves is fighting and getting hurt for her sake. She doesn't want him to fight, but having him fight makes her happy. Two contradictory wishes compete for control within her.
さきっこなんてしてないくせに。
With a pained murmur, she acknowledges the darkness within her. She's just a very human person. Like, I don't see anything. Like, that's just so human. Yes, she wants him to fight. She wants him to save her. She wants him to answer her to make up for all the times he did not. For that reason, he can get hurt. She thinks about something she shouldn't. Okay. What? Maybe this is the part that's a little bit. She clutches her chest as if responding to her dark passions. The worm within her stirs against her nerves. Okay, we need to get... This part of it I don't understand quite yet. These dark thoughts about... They all seem to involve him getting hurt. I don't know what that is, but the worms seem to react to it. It was only for an instant. She imagined him getting hurt for a mere instant, and the worm has begun to violate her once again. Oh, hi, Train. It's not entirely her fault then, it's just that the idea stimulates the worm. Interesting. Could it be the idea that seeing someone else get hurt rather than herself is pleasurable because of how much pain she's been through? Because that is a very dark thing. But again, it's human. Wriggle, 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 wriggle. The squirming in her body makes her ears ring. It melts into her blood, causing a chill to run through her body. The feeling stimulates her, and she thinks her body is lewd and evil. The worm that melted into her blood becomes aphrodisiac, heating up her body. That is awful. Like, ugh, it sucks that this has to happen to her all the time. The waves threaten to wash her consciousness away. She always thinks with her heated head that her limbs are too dirty to be called human limbs. Sexual desire easily fills her body, and she clings on the ground in a vulgar manner. Her panting does not stop, and her hips wriggle like mucus. That's sad. That's really sad. What am I supposed to say to that? That I feel empathy for her? I wish she didn't have to go through that? It's no different from the thing entangling her nerves. The worm violates her nerves the more she tries to deny it. Her consciousness is melted away, and she feels like she's a worm herself. And in the end, an ominous feeling dominates her whole body.
Sakura.
Yikes.
大丈夫。 私はまだ平気です。
Oh no, is that a command?
それよりお願いライダー、どうか先輩についていってあげて。
Oh no, it just doesn't bode well. There's so much. I told you though, the happiness just goes away.
命令ならば従います。ですがさくら、あなたの体とて
Right.
長くはない。私を行使するということは、あなたの余命を削ることです。
Oh
それでも
man.
いいのですね。
どうせ長くないもの。私
I just want a universe to exist where Sakura is happy. So bad. Like, please.
今はちゃんとしてるけど、気を抜くとね、自分が何をしていたかわからなくなるの。今朝だってなんか先輩を見送ってから1週間ぐらい経ってる気がするの。
Her. She's breaking. She's going insane from the worm. Not only is her body breaking apart, her mind is too. She's so close to death's door. It's so hard to stomach that. She says it as if it's nothing, like it's natural, that she's just gonna die, and that's how it is. She has accepted death. That, oh my lord, that hurts. That really hurts. She's fighting the ugliness of clinging to hope, and she has ordered her to protect him. I definitely relate to the second line about fighting the ugliness of clinging to hope to something. That hits close to home for sure.
承知しました。主の命に従い、エミやシローを護衛します。
Well, this might very well save Shiro's life, but at what cost?
ありがとう。ごめんねライダー。
No.
私がダメになったら
She just wants Shiro to be happy and like not to be with someone like her. She still feels like she doesn't deserve him. What I like is that she wasn't fixed in one day. She still has those doubts, and it's agonizing guilt. And that's natural. Also, in a relationship, you shouldn't expect someone's trauma to be healed that fast, to go away like that fast. If you do that, it's really fucked up. That's all I'm gonna say. She forces a smile. The servant in black nods and turns her back to her master. I want to hear that line again.
宝具を使用することになりますが、構いませんね。
An ill wind blows, right? Just everything's crashing around.
危なくなったら先輩を連れ帰ってきて。ありがとう。ごめんねライダー。私がダメになったらすぐに新しい人と契約して。先輩はちょっと嫌だけどライダーならいいかな。
Yeah, she's saying she doesn't want Senpai to be with anybody else but her. But maybe it's okay if it's with you. Because really, Ryder's the only other person she can trust, and yeah.
分かっています。けれどさくら、私はあの老人ではなく、あの神父こそを注意すべきだと思うのですが。
Dude, Ryder's got it. Yep. Oh, that's awesome. I did not expect that. Ryder speaks without looking back. That's a surprise for her. This servant does not state her opinions. She silently does as she is told, so that's bold. She has never shown concern for her the way she does now. Yep. She murmurs as if singing, her grief dispelled. She is now filled with languorous elegance.
けど安心してライダだってあの人私には勝てないもの
Okay, the way you're saying it is getting me worried. She smiles like a girl picking flowers. Okay, maybe I shouldn't take that. Maybe I should just take it as, yay! She can't be beat. A few minutes walk from the national highway. Even though I've never seen it in person, the forest entrance looks familiar. It's white, like morning mist, even during the day. The dim sunlight and fog steal the sense of time from this place.
うわ、大丈夫かこれ。
I can't believe how reckless I'm being. I didn't get lost back then because I was watching it through Ilya, but this isn't something I can manage by memory alone.
いや、泣き言は後だ。なりふり構ってられないんだから。
Basically,
当たってくだけろだ。
you got this, Shiro. I put spirit in myself as I put the bag over my shoulder. It's past noon. It takes about 4 hours to reach Ilya's castle from here, according to what I saw. All I can rely on now are my physical strength, memory, and recollection skills. Your mind was designed for that stuff, so I think it'll work out. I walk through the forest. The smell of sap is a bit suffocating. The unpaved path is tiring to walk on. It's been 2 hours, and I think I'm following the route Ilya showed me, but it's worrying that there's no sign to confirm that I'm on track. I can keep walking all day because of my training, but mental fatigue is chipping away at my energy. If memory serves, I still have 2 hours to go. I can easily imagine what'll happen if I don't end up at the castle in that time. My physical limit is far, but I'll make trivial mistakes with a disturbed mind. Dehydration and monitoring your conditions are your highest priorities during mountain climbing. You have to worry about which foot you step with and the depth of the bare rock you're scaling. Even though the forest isn't as dangerous as a mountain, this place is a different kind of danger. Losing your sense of direction, not knowing where you are. There's the danger of getting lost, and who knows what beasts you might encounter. The beasts living in this vast forest are likely to have their territories. When people stray into those territories, they're usually attacked. Walking aimlessly is like asking to be attacked, and even a straight animal trail needs to be avoided from time to time. Fortunately, snakes don't seem to exist in this forest. All I see are traces of wild dogs, and that's rare too. I bet there aren't many living things here because of the magic of Einstein in this forest. But there are a few wild dogs, and there may be far worse things. I go around the thicket that an animal may be lurking in and make my way according to my memory. Discretion is the better part of valor. It's a rule of thumb to simply avoid dangerous places rather than waiting until the danger confronts you and then running away.
にしても、この森、イリアに見せてもらった時と様子が違う気がする。
The air around me feels different. An ominous chill runs down my back with every step. Don't go any further. Get out of this forest now. Nobody will return alive from this forest today. This is not boding well. They're really setting up for some bad stuff to happen in this forest today. I feel like the swaying trees are warning me.
そういえば、この匂い。
I thought it was sap, but that's not quite right. The sweet smell is nothing like the forest. This is... the shadow? Oh, that's fantastic. It's here. Probably. I take out a wooden sword from my bag. I stop, concentrate, and strengthen it within a few minutes. Fuck, that didn't take long. Maybe it's just Medusa? I hear footsteps from the other side of the thicket. I hear sounds among the swaying branches. It's coming. It comes out and heads straight for me. I raise my wooden sword, tensing my arms and grip the sword and stand ready. It's gonna be Medusa.
そこまでよ、
Oh.
動かないで
Huh. I didn't expect that. Hi, Tosaka. This is this is a weird encounter, weird timing. Bit unfortunate, but we kind of probably need the help with how ominous things are right now. We both freeze. Well, how should I handle this situation? I don't know, that's pretty funny.
ちょっといい加減それ下げてくれない？お化け屋敷じゃないんだから。
Tosaka lowers her guard first.
すまん。
I follow her example.
珍しいところであったじゃない。
Right?
一応聞いておくけど、ピクニックの下見ってわけじゃないわ、ね。
Oh, totally. I'm gonna go on a date with Sakura in here.
わけあるか。 そういう遠坂こそなんだよ。森林浴って柄じゃないだろお前。
失礼ね。森林浴ぐらいするわよ。それは今日は違う要件だけど。
This banter feels normal again. It's such mood whiplash. She protests. The surprising part here is that she's not denying that she's planning something.
遠坂、お前。
Probably.
イリアとやり合おうってのか?
It's bold, by the way. I get right to the point.
だとしたらどうなの？あなたはもうマスターじゃない。なら私たちの戦いに首を突っ込む資格も義理もな
God,
い。
it's always just bad timing.
ないけど、遠坂がイリアと戦うっていうのなら止める。
Chiro's just as bold, and I just wow.
なんでよ。もしかしてイリアとサクラを組ませるって腹？
Guilty.
それもあるけど、遠坂、イリアと戦ったらただじゃ済まないぞ。はじめ
God damn it. Sorry to skip
止め
that.
るためにでしょ？なんだ。それまだ変わってなかったんだ。
Her sharp tone gone, Tosaka shrugs in resignation. That's Tosaka's real face that she has had on before that thing happened to Sakura. Yeah, she seems like what she was like, what she used to be
なん
like.
だよ。一度決めたことなんだから、そう簡単に変えられるわけないだろ。
でしょうね。ほんと前々から思ってたんだけど。
I don't know why, but Tosaka gives an exaggerated sigh.
エミヤくんってすっごいバカだし。
Yeah. That's pretty entertaining. Fine. More moments of levity in this game feels good. Yeah. But we love Shiro because of it. And gives a smile that surprises even me.
けどいいわ。懲りないやつだけど、あなたはそうでなくちゃ張り合いがない。不器用は不器用なりに、せいぜい努力することね。
It's just how the person that he is.
なんだその勝ち怒った顔は。なんか無性に腹立つな。
いいからいいから。で、その格好からするに、エミヤくんもイリアスフィールに用があるってわけね。
You got it. I'm angry, but Tosaka just stares at me with a smile. Damn. I don't know why, but I can never deal with Tosaka in these situations. I feel like I'll back myself further into a corner no matter what I say.
どうしたの？急に黙っちゃって。黙秘なんてエミヤくんらしくないわよ。
そうだよ。お前の言う通りだ。俺は今からイリアに会いに行くんだから邪魔するな。ついてきたら追っ払うからな。
This banter is so refreshing. It feels like we're playing UBW again. I never thought I'd be saying it, but it's nice to not have to go through. Oh god, this route is like just insane.
あれ？何？もしかしてイリアスフィールの居場所知ってるの？
No. Oops. Crap. Me and my big mouth.
よかった。それなら案内してもらえる？
Oh.
私も大体の場所はわかるんだけど、大昔の地図だから信憑性低くって。
お前な、俺はついてくるなって言ったんだぞ。
I'll just follow your footsteps then. That's not the same thing. I was like,
あら、エミヤくんはイリアスフィールと話し合いに行くのに、私から目を離していいの？万が一私が先に到着しちゃったら、もう話し合いどころじゃないと思うけど。
oof. Yeah.
俺を脅迫する気か？
He's got a bit of leverage on you,
大
buddy.
体な、一緒に行ったところでイリアに喧嘩売るんだろ？
売らないわよ。イリアスフィールと共闘できるなら、それに越したことはないもの。とりあえずやるべきことは造形の排除でしょ。
Like usual,
私がここ
Tosaka's
に来
like,
たのはイリアスフィールに忠告に来ただけだもの。
we have a truce again, only till we kill Zoken, then we're enemies.
忠告ってなんの？
Shadow?
マトウ造形が何やら企んでるから、甘く見てると痛い目に遭うって。キャスターのこともあるし。
That's what I was
ま
saying.
さかまでああなっちゃこっちが不利でしょ。
Dude, if that happens, we're boned.
けど、そう忠告したところで戦いになるって覚悟してたけどね。私とあの子じゃ話し合いなんてできない。一応忠告して、それで戦いになるのなら仕方ないって思ってた。いずれ倒さないといけない相手だし、遅いか早いかの違いでしょ。でも見たところエミヤ君には当てがありそうじゃない？ なら冒険をする必要もないし、エミヤ君の努力次第でことは丸く収まるってこと。
This has been a very strange and interesting turn of events. I find it peculiar that there has been so much feel good in this early part of the day, which means we're close to just the non-stop turn. I can definitely see Funasu's style with Heaven's Feel now, and it's interesting.
ほら、難しい顔しない。あなたがイリアスフィールをで、もし失敗したら協力してあの子を倒すか。
It's really not. I would take it.
手を貸すわ。どう？悪い話じゃないんじゃない？
Yeah, you're best off taking that deal. The thing is even Ryder has a bad feeling of what's gonna happen, and just imagine it. We're gonna have Shiro, potentially Ilias Veil, Berserker, Medusa, Rin, and Emiya all in one team for like a little bit. That seems like it'd be enough to just wipe Zoken out, but he's gotta have a big brain plan. He's not that stupid. Yeah, basically. Clings on to you like the worm in soccer. Sorry.
まさか、そんなの言いがかりよ。たまたま行き先が同じってこともあるんだし。
You're always one to pull that. Ah! She's a devil. But she'll listen to me so long as I'm guiding her. Osaka will go fight Ilya if I leave her be, but she'll stay quiet if I take her with me.
言っとくけど、俺だって道に確証はないぞ。迷っても文句言うなよ。
それは心配無用よ。あなたが向かっている方角、地図とぴったり一致するもの。
Yeah.
私の地図とエミヤ君
Actually might be more effective to have both. I sigh loudly, making sure Tosaka can hear it.
分かった。観念したよ。城まで一緒に行こう。そうすれば、とりあえずイリアとは戦わないんだな。
Well, I'm definitely just enjoying what's going on right now, so.
ええ、あなたがイリアスフィールと交渉している間も邪魔はしないわ。あの子、敵に回したら厄介だけど、味方にできるなら頼もし。
Here we go. The moment of levity is over. It's time for some action. I wanted to say that one reason I'm really loving Heaven's Feel is that I just can't tell what's going to happen next. I'm always stumped. Every episode, things happen in an order I never expect, and things that I didn't think would happen. And it's amazing, and I'm so just in love with it. Could it be Berserker fighting? The trees shake. I hear explosions in the distance. No, this isn't an earthquake. Something like a typhoon is raging nearby. The shadow. Oh, it is Berserker. It must be fighting the shadow then.
じゃあ、向こうで暴れてるのはバーサーカーなのか。
ええ、私たちがここにいる以上、バーサーカーが戦う相手は一人しかいない。
Well, we gotta go.
どうする？私は行くけど。
This fight is just as much Shiro's as it is yours. There's no time to think. Staying here seems like a dumb idea, dude.
俺も行く。そのために来たんだからな。
それじゃあ私の後ろに行って。アーチャーを先行させるから。それで出会いが
Good. Good. Thank you. Tosaka starts running. The Gar. Archer takes form, gives me a single glance, and takes the lead. Yeah, I would. I could see the game just killing her off right now. Like, oh yeah, you think we were done? I clench the wooden sword in my hand and run after them at full speed. Alright, we're getting into the meat of this day. Oh, so we're gonna see what happened from their perspective. Understood. The girl flees the castle with the black giant. It is a baffling escape. She has abandoned her castle, the place designed to offer her the best defense, to run to the forest. Danger is approaching. The girl was the first one to sense the unavoidable fact. The enemy is approaching the castle. Because she felt that the enemy is a great one, she maximized the castle's defense and woke up the giant in anticipation of the enemy. The Giant of Steel, Berserker. Personification of destruction who has his sanity taken away and only obeys the girl. With her bodyguard in the castle's protection, she has nothing to fear. She tells herself this, suppressing her unease. But when the enemy draws near her, Giant said, "Run." Even the one with no reason left understood that he could not beat the approaching foe. Oh, wow. Oh, gotta be that shadow then. The girl started running at that instant. She knows that. She already knew that. The thing that reached the outer wall is not something they can match. The ominous shadow expands with the sun behind it, and it becomes a great shadow to easily climb over the outer wall. What the hell is that? They will lose. With her aside, Berserker cannot beat that thing. He will lose if he fights it, and Berserker will not be her servant anymore. That is the root of her uneasiness. She ran away from the castle not in fear of her own defeat, but in fear of losing her servant. The Black Giant carries her as they make their way through the forest. The uneasiness does not go away, but assails her with increased weight. She cannot get away. The girl vaguely understands that she cannot get away from this uneasiness and fear, and the Black Giant drops. Stops.
Oh,
of course Zoken's here. Alright. What do you have in store? In front of them is a withered Magus. Next to him is an assassin wearing a white skull mask. Onto Zoken. It's gonna be another thing where assassin lures Berserker into the shadow to get absorbed into it. I'm just wondering. I'm excited for when we get explained what the shadow is and why it showed up only now that Assassin's here, and why it's so important for the end game to have the servants get sucked into it. Because I'm sure it powers it up, right? She figures out right away he's the Magus of Mockery that she was informed of when she left her home country. The girl jumps to the ground and confronts the old man. There is no fear in her eyes. Oh, Ilya, you absolute awesome. The enemy before her is not the terrifying one she sensed. That's interesting. I'll keep that in mind. The girl coldly glares at him as he laughs. The Holy Grail does not choose, just like the old man says. If that's the case, then that's kind of, that kind of just changes everything. Masters are chosen by the Holy Grail. Servants are given form with the Holy Grail's power, and they stay in this world with the help of the Masters. The rules are intentionally distorted and spread around. Okay, so the original rules are lost to time. The girl knows that the purpose of the Holy Grail War is actually the other way around. The Holy Grail is merely something to be filled. Yeah, we learned about that just with the death of the servants. Masters are not chosen but prepared as part of the ritual, and servants are merely tools to be used to open the gate. Ah, savage. Gotta love Ilya. Okay, the Great Holy Grail. The original? Oh, wow. The scary thing about this is I'm loving this, but the moment that someone talks a big game, unless they're guard down, I just see things going south. Her voice is cold. The old man accepts her scorn with a laugh. He was blessed with good game pieces. So is he gonna wait till the 6th Grail War to officially go with it, but he decided my hand is really good. I'm gonna try it here in the 5th.
なら勝手にすれば。私、あなたに興味はないわ。私
Oh, I
の
love
器
it.
なんて気に入らないけど、どうせ失敗するんだし、邪魔はしないから。
I
おとなしく地の底に戻す
have a bad feeling about this, but I love seeing I love seeing Ilya just absolutely give him the business.
言われるまでもない。この老体に日の光は辛いのでな。ことが済めば
Oh, right.
早々に古巣に戻る。
The only reason he's able to, like, not completely wither away is because there's trees blocking the sunlight, and there's, like, a lot of mist.
だが、やはりの、こうもうまくいきすぎると逆に不安が大きくなる。
He wants Ilya's body then.
お主の体をもらい、
He is the vessel after all.
ここでお前を抑えておけば、我が悲願は盤石じゃ。
Hostility lights up at that old man. The White Skull gets up, but stops to contrast the old man's wish. It's obvious why. The White Masked Assassin is overawed by the giant who's protecting the girl. So this fight isn't about beating Berserker. It's about luring Berserker into the shadow, just like Assassin has proven that he can do. If that's the case, rip. He has no chance to defeat such a foe. He will be cut in half with one blow if he steps in. The assassin does not move because he is sure of that fact. Yes, you called him out. Absolutely called them out. There's no reply. Assassin does not speak, but his master laughs in his place.
ああ、大事だとも。我が望みは不老不死。こやつの望みも永劫に刻まれる自身の名でな。
Also,
彼ら
his
は同じ目的のため、こうして邁進しておるというわけだ。
his wish is for the immortality of having his name ingrained in history for all time. Because that, in essence, is a form of immortality, if you think about it.
正気なのあなた。聖杯にかける望みが不老不死ですって。
It's really cool how they turned a cliche evil desire like immortality into something interesting with Soken, but I get it. It's kind of just cliche like really dog immortality. Hatred shows in that girl's eyes. His grin widens still further. It's as if he's waiting for that scornful reaction.
当然じゃ。見よこの体を。刻一刻と機能を失い、悪臭を放ち体は内から溶け、こうしている今も脳細胞は蓄えた知識を失っていくのだ。
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
その痛み、生きながら崩れゆく苦しみがお主にわかるか。
She understands the pain of being in that kind of situation, I guess. Not necessarily rotting, but...
自業自得でしょ。
Mm-hmm.
人の体は100年の時間に耐えられない。それを超えようというのだから、代償は必要だわ。それに耐えられないなら消えればいい。苦しいのなら死ねば楽になるんじゃなくて。
Absolutely adoring Ilya. I just have a bad feeling about this because talking this big game, it just doesn't bode well. The old body trembles. The Magus shakes as if racked by coughing and...
やはりそうきたか、インツベル。貴様らとて1000年続けて同じ思想よ。所詮人形。やはり人間には近づけなんだ。
Interesting. I'm not sure exactly what it means. He laughs from the bottom of his heart.
なんですって。
It seemed to have gotten to Ilya,
た
though.
わけめ。よく聞くがよい、冬の娘よ。人の身において死に勝る無念などない。虫どもの苗床となるこの痛みなど、己が死に比べればかほどのものでもないわ。
Okay.
自己の存続こそが苦しみから逃れる唯一の真理。死ねば楽になるなどと、それこそ生きていない証ではないか。
Oh, that's such an interesting argument. I like that. That could be like a philosophy debate.
だからこそ、お主は人形に過ぎぬのだ。 その急増の体ではあと1年と持つまい。短命に定められた作り物に人間の欲望は理解できぬということだ。
Oh. It's been a long time since I was faced with the reality that their bodies decay so fast. Meaning that even if Ilya survives, he's gonna die very fast. Maybe there's an alternative. Now that I'm faced with that reality, I'm already depressed again.
理解できないわ。あなたは人間の中でも特例だもの。
Yeah, he's literally insane.
生きたくせに自分の寿命を受け入れられないなんて乱心したとしか思えない。ねえ、あなた、そんなに死にたくないの？
Such an interesting conversation between the two.
わしは死ぬわけにはいかぬ。このまま死にたくはない。まだ世にとどまり、生を続けなくてはならん。そのために聖杯を手に入れようというの？死が恐ろしいから聖杯を求めるの？は、死が恐ろしくない人間がいるのかね。よいか。いかな真理、いかな境地にたどり着こうと無駄なこと。自己の消滅、世界の終焉を克服することはできん。
Yeah, that's some of the truths of the world is you will someday die, and the world will end someday. Leads to some existential feelings for sure, but it's just the plain truth.
最後に知っておけ。目の前に生き延びる手段があり、手を伸ばせば届く。
じゃあ、
Oops.
あなたは自分が生き続けるために他の人間をみんな犠牲にするっていうの？
Like, what's the point of being alive at that point?
おうよ。それで我が望みが叶うというのなら、世界中の人間を一人一人殺して回っておるわ。
Yeah, I couldn't understand that, going that far.
人の強欲は尽きぬもの。
Correct. At least he's acknowledging that fact.
お主とて木々の一本一本が寿命を伸ばす妙薬とすれば、この森など瞬く間に食らい尽くそう。たとえそれがわずか一日足らずの延命だとしてもな。
That's an ingenious analogy to the situation, and that's brilliant. They're really making Zoken complex, a very complex character by having him talk like this and show this. He makes an interesting point there. I enjoy that a lot, actually. That's really cool.
己が一日のために世界の一部を殺していく。その願望はこの森だけでは飽き足らず、世界中の木々を殺すことになろう。その行いによって他人が滅びようと知ったことではない。当然であろう。もとより人間とはそのようにしてここまで広がり、育ち増え、肥満しきった有象無象。
Yep. You're not wrong in that aspect.
そこにもはや連鎖すべき法則など成り立たぬ。いずれ破綻するのであれば、わし一人が足並みを崩したところで、誰にも異論は挟ませぬわ。
His points are so interesting. I'm just kind of floored with how much I'm enjoying this. The old man speaks happily after looking at him in surprise.
呆れたわ。そこまで見失ってしまったの。
Oh yeah, he's absolutely insane, batshit crazy. The girl speaks in a voice not her own.
何？
思い出しなさい。私たちの悲願、奇跡に至ろうとする絶望はどこから来たものなのか。
So is that the vessel talking?
私たちは何のために人の身であることにこだわり、人の身であるままに人あらざる地点に到達しようとしていたのかを。
We're learning more about this. Okay. Yeah, those are all great questions I would love to know the reason for. His laugh stops. The old Magus squints as if peering into the distant sky.
人形風情がよくも言った。ユスティーツァーの真似事も刷り込み済みというわけか。
I don't understand that line, unfortunately. He distorts his face in hatred and glares at the white girl.
So
that he can get a hold of the Greater Grail. The old man's shadow creeps across the ground. With that, the pressure on the girl increases. I think that's the first time we've seen like the vessel talk, or that part of her talk. I think I'm incorrect in saying that, but you know what I'm trying to say at least. Black Giant enters battle without waiting for the girl's order. I got a bad feeling about this. The girl's voice does not reach him. The Black Giant, accompanied by a whirlwind, mows down the pressing shadow, but here we are. I don't know how Zoken did it, but did the shadow, like, did he have the shadow, like, below him, or we'll see. Sounds of wind. The wind running through the forest and shaking the trees is something I've heard before. If Berserker's rampaging, then that only means that Zoken has control of Berserker, in which case we're fucked. The tremors are growing more intense. We're closing in on the source. It's probably on the other side of that next thicket. The battle to decide the strongest is raging just behind those dense trees. My feet stop. A second before I burst into the open, I get to a halt and hide myself. What happened to him? Tosaka also hides behind a tree and stares at the disastrous scene in the clearing. The place is literally a battlefield. There are 3 servants fighting. One is the Black Giant Berserker. Another is the White Skull Mask Killer Assassin. Is Emiya there? And the last one is... What? Excuse me? That looks exactly like Saber. Like, it's a corrupted version. Oh, God. They're gonna pull that kind of beat with the story? That... Great. That's a good twist. But it makes everything worse. I don't know what's happening in this route anymore. I don't know what's happening anymore. Like, I genuinely, like, what? It's like every day there's something I can't even see going to happen. So, I was thinking about it before, but was that shadowy stuff like Grail Mud? Because we remember Grail Mud reincarnated, or not reincarnated, Gilgamesh was put in the Grail Mud, but he came out close to the same. But I think Assassin said that the more pure you are, the more damage it does to you. So it not affecting Gilgamesh would be because of that, and because of how pure of a person Saber is, it turns her into that, like a shadow puppet, like a dark being of just pure darkness. I gotta be real with you though. That design is pretty freaking cool, man. That sword is dope. Great. So, okay, we gotta kill Saber again. Fun. Yay, Saber's our enemy. The game would do this. Nasu, thanks. We're gonna make Saber our enemy. So does that mean Zoken has this piece too? So, if Zoken gets Berserker and this weird dark Saber, like what? There's no way to win against that. That can't be true.
ちょっとあれまさか
It looks the exact same as her. I could be wrong. Misaka's voice is shaking. I can't really hear her. Even though she's right next to me, her whisper doesn't register for some reason. The third servant, I'm seeing the one clad in black armor for the first time. But... yeah, what the hell? She reminds me of someone I know really well. The black giant howls. An attack powerful enough to destroy a mountain swings through empty space, smashing down into the ground. That's her. It's the same pose. God, this music track is good. Even the flying rubble does not cause her to falter. The source of the raging wind must be that black swordsman, and the black figure makes her way through the berserker's sword and the flying clods and attacks at his defenseless body. Did that make her stronger? Like, whatever happened to her? The anguish is the giant's. His body of steel can nullify almost any attack, but the black swordsman cuts it like nothing. This track is so good. It really paints the hopelessness of this situation. The sword stains the giant's side back, just like darkness consuming light.
ダメ逃げるのバーサーカーそいつにやられたら戻ってこれなくなるもう戦わなくていいから早く
The last time we saw Ilya get this afraid for Berserker was when he was effectively losing against Gil. And by that, I think Berserker's toast. At least... oh no, but if he could the same thing happen to Berserker, then? He could become like a dark form of him? If he gets corrupted by the goo? Whatever that is? If that's the case, I wonder, is Lancer gonna come back? I don't know. Ilya sounds like she's crying. She knows that this is too much. Seems like this is a part of Zoken's game piece. I don't know how this worked out for Zoken, but that's Sly Fox. Otto Zoken laughs. The two masters, Ilya and Zoken, confront each other while the servants stand in front of them as shields. In front of Zoken is Assassin, who must have been defeated by Berserker. In front of Ilya is Berserker, his entire body covered in black. The ground beneath his feet is turned into a black pond. Oh, he's gonna get consumed by that. It is not soil, but a bottomless swamp, sealing his movements. Not only that, but black veins are coming out of the swamp, restraining the giant's limbs. It's just like that shadow. I know what that is. That has to be the Black Shadow. But for an instant... why did it remind you of Sakura? What the fuck? Why? Why is he thinking... why is he... does that still mean the shadow's connected to Sakura? Ooh, that's a cool graphic for the attacks. The deafening crash shocks me back to reality. The situation is hopeless. Berserker is strong. Even though the shadow has nearly engulfed him, he still stands against the swordsman, but... we've been pinned to the ground. We're defenseless. Zoken has become the MVP. If he has just control of Saber, and now Berserker, and Assassin, and maybe even Lancer, then we're done. I don't... But he's at his limit. The Black Swordsman charges and slashes the Berserker. Even if they are equally strong, Berserker's movement is further restricted with each passing second. Then, the balance will only tip further towards the swordsman the longer they fight.
これ以上ここによっては巻き添えを食らいかねん。まさかが飲まれ次第アインツベルンの娘を捕らえ戻ってくる。
Screw you, Zoken. His figure grows hazy. He vanishes from the forest, leaving Assassin behind.
キャツは目につくものならば、それが魔力の塊ならばなおのことだ。アインツベルンの娘、むざむざ飲まれることもない。
He's ordering Saber around. His presence along with his figure fades away. Zoken has disappeared. The only ones remaining are Assassin and Berserker. And the Black Swordsman raising her sword. Ilya murmurs in an emotionless voice, "Let me replay that line, I'm sorry." It's heartbreaking to hear Ilya talk like that. I'm not used to it, and the way she acted out the last line with Berserker was incredible from the VA. I just gotta say. His advance is like a storm. Is he putting up a good fight? Berserker charges, kicking away the black shadow that has swallowed him up to his knees. It's an impossible action. The mud below him isn't the only thing binding him as the black shadows coil all about his body. He cannot move forward. Berserker cannot even take a step forward with his body bound by the black shadow. For that reason, he tore his body apart. Oh, Lord. He's tearing off his pieces of his body to rip the black shadow off. Bro, that thing's like a symbiote, dude. He tore off his flesh along with the shadow, going deep enough to expose his bones? Oh, wow, that is intense. The stuff sticks to that so strongly. The giant bursts into motion. With the force of a whirlwind behind it, the next swing will surely destroy the Black Swordsman. It will be his last attack. He has ripped his body apart and is executing this attack on the verge of his death. There's no way his attack isn't fatal. And in response, the swordsman meets it with her strong attack. It's over. Ilya starts to run. She dashes frantically to Berserker as if she doesn't see the shadow expanding at his feet. We gotta get to Ilya. Oh no. I can't do anything even if I go out now. I have no hope of winning against either the shadow or the swordsman. But still, I have to stop Ilya. Gotta get her. Gotta save Ilya. I jump out from behind the tree. I grab Ilya from behind as she runs around towards Berserker. The mad warriors roar, the strong wind, and an explosion that even takes away my vision. It's over. That's a cool shot. It's like she's using this dark energy. Like the Grail's darkness itself. Like the curse or whatever. They all flow into my numb ears at once. I hold Ilya in my arms as the wind knocks me to the ground. White light fills my vision and I can't even manage to stand up. No. Standing up never crosses my mind. It's over, isn't it? My body feels hot. Something deep within me resonates with the attack. I don't understand why, but this heat is in resonance with the noble phantasm. Really? Really? It's gotta be Saber. My breathing has been deadened, just like my vision. Or is he reminded of Sakura again? I don't know what that... I'm nervous, that's all I can say. My body will not function as a human being as long as that sword is engraved in my eyes. It is. It's like a... Rip. I've been tranced. My heart is taken away by something I only saw for an instant. That thing is an illusion far superior to the numerous other noble phantasms. There are many that are crafted more splendidly and with better skill. But the beauty of that noble phantasm is not its appearance. No, to describe this sword as beautiful would only dirty it. The sword is not beautiful but sacred. People's conception, legends weaved only out of hope. It's not a myth, nor is it in human work. It is a crystal trained by heart alone. And that is why that sword will reign as the strongest fantasy. My vision returns. Is Excalibur? The sky is lit with dark red light and is dark like night. The light that split the forest must have been darkness itself. The fire is burning silently, but the air is still cold. Is it something that freezes oxygen instead of burning it? The darkly lit forest lowers its temperature. Why does Saber have to become our enemy? Everything is just going to hell in this route. Really? The swordsman is standing with the black fire in the background. With Ilya still in my arms, I glare at the pointed sword. I don't feel any hostility from the swordsman. I fear my death, and at the same time grit my teeth in vexation. It's different. Does she have, does she know what she's doing? Does she remember Shiro? No, it's just, she's a different person. It's not just her hostility, I don't feel any of the nobility I previously felt from her. It's confirmed. Oh my god. I don't know what's gonna happen anymore. I can't even, oh, I'm stumped. Everything is crazy and my whole world is being turned upside down. Her helm breaks. It must have been Berserker's last attack. Her face is revealed, and although she's completely different, she's still the same. There's no reply. The now golden eyes do not reveal anything, but plainly look down at us. Ilya's voice is trembling. A sword is pointed at her, and Berserker is sinking into the shadow behind Saber. The defeat of her servant and her impending death. Any young girl would tremble in this situation. This is not good. I don't want to have to fight against Saber like this, to have her as the enemy. Nasu sure knows how to hurt us. It's just... I shake off any unnecessary emotions. I hug Ilya harder and put strength into my free arm. Aww, that's wholesome. Now's not the time to be spaced out. I'm going to save Ilya. I'm going to save Ilya and return to my home. I can't just cower and wait for my death. God, I admire you, Shiro. Saber swings her sword. She tries to slash at me as I stand up, and at that instant, carries 3 arrows shot from her side. Archer?
Archer?
I get to my feet, still holding Ilya in one arm. Archer knows what's gonna happen. I hope we learn, because he seemed to know what that shadow was, or at least have a vague conception. Okay. Don't stop. The swords clash. Archer shot at Saber and attacked her without pause. But it doesn't do much. Even with his godlike speed, Saber easily repels his twin blades. Emiya's trying, going 100%, and oh no. Archer's acting strangely. Looking, I see the black shadows entangling around his feet. That's unfair advantage for the enemy. So not only does he have to deal with her, but he has to deal with the shadow too. Wow, that image is really good, but God, her eyes are filled with, hate, and they just look so dark. So she has some memory, if she knows who Archer is. The layer of the cursed world. Glad that she can speak. The layer of the cursed world. The cool voice is definitely Saber's. She easily smashes the black shadow and... Oh, these shots are cool. Her design is really, really cool. I need to learn more adjectives because I feel like I say that word too many times. I'm embodying Ryunosuke. Sends Archer flying into the forest behind him. He struck with enough force to throw him back in spite of his defense and the shadow holding his feet. That is... It looks like he's barely trying. Oh, she even gets her own, like, portrait. And once again, Saber confronts us silently. Her eyes, they tell me she has resolved to kill me if I do not hand Ilya over. Ilya lets go of my arm. It seems she wants me to hand her over and the last switch is tipped inside my head. Yeah, you gotta protect her. This isn't the time for sentimentality. We gotta survive. I push Ilya behind me and grip the wooden sword with both hands. I hold it at the ready, right in front of me. I'll drive all of my power and magical energy as soon as Saber charges at me. She has to remember you. I don't think that's going to be enough to stop her, but I at least want to see that, if she can... That's all I can do now. I have nothing to say to her. I can't apologize, nor can I tell her to come back. I can't say something like that when she hasn't said anything herself. Saber is in front of me as an enemy, and the only way to answer her is to fight with all my might. I take aim. I won't even try to take her life at the cost of my own. Saber taught me that such tactics are useless. An attack with the premise of your death is only effective against an opponent as strong as you. Joe really has learned, hasn't he? That puts a smile on my face, indeed. Against Saber, I can't hope for something as good as a mutual kill. Therefore, I'm only aiming at one spot. Her helmet shattered, so her hand must be damaged somewhat. That's where I'm going to strike with all my might. I'll defeat my enemy and live on. Once I get that clear image in my head, I won't even be a match against Saber. She's coming. Dodge it, dodge it, dodge it, dodge it! I don't care if I look miserable. I don't care if I have to crawl on the ground. Unless I dodge this attack, I can never protect Ilya. I'm dead. I fought Saber before, so I know this will be fatal. Medusa, please. The lightning-fast attack comes from the upper left. Slicing through my neck will be as easy as mowing rice. Medusa, please. But my head is still attached. Saber sword stopped just shy of my throat. What happened? Oh. Does she recognize you? She silently sheathes her sword and jumps away. Uh-oh. That's an interesting... She did recognize him, right? Maybe? Could that be her reason? The black pond expands on the ground. The shadow's about to crawl out of there. Oh! I want to know what that is so freaking bad. Why did it remind Shiro of Sakura? That's the thing I saw at the park the other night. It reminds me of Ayasura. Why did having intercourse with Sakura give him, like, visions of that after he... So is that thing just the embodiment of the curse of the Grail? There must be a part of her that doesn't want to kill Shiro, so she's just gonna let the shadow do it. So the shadow seems to be commanding her. Or assassin is... Saber walks over to the black mud, and she sinks into the mud just like Berserker did. Okay, that means that Berserker is totally gonna come back as that. But that ain't scary. I don't know what's scary. I watch her until she completely disappears. I don't care why she's still in this world or why she's my enemy now. Now that we're enemies, all we can do is fight. That is the nature of this war. But still, I think for a second that she wouldn't have been stained black like that if I had been stronger. Tosaka's voice brings me back to myself. In front of me are the approaching black shadow and assassin whose white mask is distorted with a smile. I take Ilya's hand and start running. Ilya takes one sad glance at the mud that swallowed Berserker, then keeps back her tears as she starts running too. Did the new Saber get added? It did. Oh, her stats are increased. That's terrifying. So her riding skills are lost. She still has that high magic resistance. Because she has a dark alignment, her magic resistance has decreased a little bit. Okay. Instinct energy burst covers Black Saber's body like a dense fog. With her black armor and her trail of mana, her defenses increased considerably, so it's a higher defense stat. She has more charisma this way. Interesting. Both are lawful evil. Wasn't Saber lawful good? If that's the case, then it just completely flipped her. It kind of like, could it be like this is just opposite day Saber? Like it just completely alternated all of her self into the complete opposite? We run through the forest. In front of me, it's Tosaka leading the way. Behind us is Assassin, pursuing us through the trees. She must be worried about us, even though she could have escaped by now. She slows down and turns to look at us. I know that the enemy is right behind us, but I can't shake him off. Sort of an assassin is after us. There's no way I can shake him off when I have Ilya with... And you gotta remember, Assassin's got the agility on his side. He's gonna go for the kill. Oh, excuse me for the yawn. Apologies. I hear an ominous voice right by my ear. When I look to my side, of course he's right there, just like an assassin. I see a white death's head smiling as he licks the dagger. Who did it? The masked figure is knocked away. While running beside me, Assassin was thrown off guard by a kick to the side. Medusa or Emiya? Emiya. Savage. Yep, Assassin's a weak little nugget, but he's smart. Archer does not slacken his pace as he talks. I swear to God, are they gonna pull the Emiya dies again by saving us? He knows what that shadow is. It definitely seems that way. Archer's looking at Assassin and something else that is coming from behind him. It's after us. That shadow is coming after us while staining the ground black. It's honestly really cathartic in a way to see Emiya assist Shiro like this. It must have came for a shock to Emiya that all this is happening, the shadow business, which he seems to know about, and the fact that his own self managed to give up his ideals like that and flip. So I could definitely see why Archer is more inclined to help himself. But he also has, like, this threat is a greater threat than his own feelings. Archer slows down a bit and goes behind us. At that instant, right before he leaves, he gives Ilya a look heavy with regret. Oh, that's... Oh, Emiya. It's clear that, Emiya cares for Ilya, because it's Shiro, duh. I go through the forest with the sound of clashing swords at my back. As Assassin follows, he's obstructed by Archer's efforts. Unable to sustain the offensive, Assassin is once again forced to retreat. Their attacks are matched. Even the daggers thrown at me are shot down, and it's obvious that Assassin is not in control of the fight. But it's not because Assassin is weak. Archer repels the multitude of daggers. His vigor is incomparable to before. The scales of victory are tipping towards Archer. I don't know why, but he is strong as fierce. He's as strong as a fierce god right now. He's determined. Everything's on the line, I believe. When even his strongest attack repelled, Assassin raises his voice as he retreats. In response,
知れたこと。私は他の連中のように真っ当な英雄ではない。清純ではない英霊ならば、
right.
あの泥と同意。
So that's why he's not getting consumed by the mud. That's awesome.
つまり
Archer must consider it his chance of victory as Archer
お
charges.
前ほどではないが、この身もいびつな英霊ということだ。
Right. He cuts the white skull with one blow. The black cloak scatters in all directions. Assassin retreats, clutching at his broken mask. It is not a retreat to regroup, but a retreat to save his life. The black servant runs away from Archer, disappears into the trees. Right, the only thing that seems like it can match Archer right now is that dark Saber and the Shadow.
上出来。これで追いつかれる心配もなくなった。
But I think the biggest threat is the Shadow.
疲れたでしょ。しばらく休んでいいから霊体に戻っていて。
He can't. This is unfortunately no. Tosaka looks relieved. Behind her, the Shadow. It appears as if born from the trees' shadows.
何？
She looks behind her. At the same time, the black shadow extends its tentacle and... Oh my god! I won't make it even if I run. I'll witness Tosaka getting pierced by that black tentacle. Fuck. Emiya took it, didn't he? But the one I actually see impaled is Archer, who pushes Tosaka aside. Oh, Emiya, please. Not like this. Tosaka looks up at Archer without comprehension. It's the end for Archer. Oh, come on. He's still breathing, and he's not bleeding much. It should be possible for him to heal himself, even if he's pierced, as long as it's not fatal. But somehow I understand that Archer cannot fight anymore. That thing kills servants. So, the original purpose for the Grail was to fill it with servants. So this thing is trying to kill all the servants and consume them? If that is the case, then... okay. I don't know how this thing is up and about, but it has to be Angra. And the Grail Mud is just part of the curse that Angra has. Emiya, no character really can catch a break in this this novel. No matter how strong a heroic spirit is, one cannot beat that black shadow as long as one is summoned as a servant. It's just the instant game over. I vaguely comprehend that fact for some reason.
嘘。あーちゃん、何してんのよ。
Tosaka must have felt the same thing. She calls to Archer with a trembling voice, stands up unsteadily, and... Oh, I just want to know what it is. Archer's shout stops her cold. Oh, it's like a cocoon. The black shadow throbs. It's like it's trying to be born. That would be Angra then. Boris is dying. All the magical energy here is being sucked by that shadow. For some stupid reason, it reminds me of a water balloon. It does. It's like putting more water into an already full balloon. It's expanding beyond capacity, and I get the bad image of it explode. We'll get sucked up. If we stay here, we'll be engulfed for sure. Archer pulls out the tentacle that pierced him and starts to run to Tosaka. Then I... Shit.